Frankenstein's monster. I'm going to share with you today the information, the story behind Frankenstein and his monster, and how each and every one of us, in truth, is a representation of the story. We are Frankenstein and his monster. We are created of lots of different parts, and I'm going to share with you how you go about actually integrating all parts of the self into the whole so that you can beneficially choose what you experience in life, as opposed to having certain parts trying to actually defy you and control what you do. If you can actually notice, I have a rash here. This is a representation and a memory of anxiety. I used to be very, very anxious in myself, and I would get lots of hives and rashes all over my face, all over my neck, to the point where my throat would actually close up and I couldn't breathe. I'm in the process at the moment of actually putting together a court case to take my old employer to the tribunal for a wrongful dismissal. That is a very personal sharing, but that is what I'm currently doing. My ego, because it doesn't feel confident in putting together a court case and dealing with lawyers and solicitors, is trying to actually prevent me from doing this. It's the end of the week. I was supposed to have done it at the end of last week, and then this week I've allowed the end of the week again, because the start of it is always most joyfully and beneficially used to create and to share and to work with clients. The end of the week is what I use to do more human constructed, three-dimensional things. It is 3:30 now. I've had the most beautiful day so far, and after recording this I'm going to sit down and start the work. But that part of me, the defiant part, which in truth is there to keep me safe, is trying to prevent me doing so. Oh, I don't feel very well. Oh, I've got a bit of a cold coming. Oh, I feel a bit heavy in the head. I've got a headache. Whatever manner of excuses that it can come up with to prevent a potentially fearful situation being experienced, it will do so. The subconscious mind, along with the ego, is there to protect and serve the body. And it will do so in whatever way that it is used to, that it is familiar with. It doesn't mean that the program that it runs is beneficial. It just means that it is the program that it is familiar with and that it can take, grab onto and run. Likened to Frankenstein and his monster, when we grow up, we take various parts from around us, various parts of other people, informationally, and we create ourselves with it. Give me a moment, because I'm actually going to move the singing bowl because it's vibrating and echoing and singing to me, and I am then not fully focused. Again, part of me is focused here with part of me here, so I'm fragmenting myself, and everything is all about integration. No more fragmentation, no more parts, no more separation within the self as well as within the collective, because in truth we are all one and the same aspects, different aspects of the same self. Likened to leaves on a tree, each leaf may appear separate, and especially when it falls to the ground, oh look, there's a separate leaf. It's quite clearly separate to all the rest of the leaves. Yes, but it's part of the same being, the same life force, the same entity, as we are all parts of the same consciousness, of humanity, of the collective, of the universe itself, experiencing itself. So the story behind Frankenstein and his monster could be likened to, as I've done videos in the past, being a single parent, creating a life form through your own experiences, taking parts from outside of yourself, from around yourself, to create this being from. We develop programs, informations, learnings. We basically adopt and mirror those people around us that we look up to, that provide us with care and protection and sustenance. The information that your parents give you, you have no reason to question or deny or doubt. Therefore, you take it to be factually true. You then process that information through your lenses of perception and integrate it as a hardwired factual part of your reality, part of existence. As an example, fears and phobias are a perfectly rational place to begin. If your parent is scared of a certain situation, event, or has a viewpoint of a certain culture or people, then you will develop that. I've talked about this in the racism and the reason why racism still exists today, and it comes back to the ego and its desire and almost fundamental requirement to always be superior and feel itself correct. What the ego does not understand, it will condemn and deny. It's easier to go, they're wrong, than I don't know. If you don't understand somebody, if you don't understand a certain situation, if you don't understand another culture, if you don't understand a certain creature or event or situation, the non-understanding of it develops and brings up a feeling of insuperiority, of not being good enough, of not being the mighty ego. And the mighty ego must remain the mighty ego, otherwise it feels less than, and it will do everything it can to keep a form of superiority, of a separational complex of I. I am me, this body, this structure, this mind, these emotions, these feelings. I'm experiencing it all, yes, but this is not me. I'm the eternal sovereign being that is within it, that is part of it, and that is continuously experiencing it, as I am part of you. Frankenstein, through the creation, develops all these different parts. Your reaction or your viewpoint of anger, let's say, maybe comes from your uncle. Your feelings of global repression or a desire to escape a system of old may come from your mother. Whatever viewpoints, whatever learnings, whatever programs that you develop and bring in from around you, you then create yourself with all those different parts: arms, legs, head, feet, etc. These are representations of external and internal validations of self. To validate yourself, again, is the ego. Is only the ego that desires to be right, or that views anything as right or wrong. To reconnect to the truth that everything is just information, everything is energy vibrating. All you need to do is vibrate according to that which you wish to experience. Again, I will repeat this over and over again. Through repetition is the way we learn. And through the reprogramming of old parts, of old programs, we can actually go about experiencing new situations and events. So, how do we go about reprogramming, and what is it that is repetition, repetition, repetition? Repetition, repetition, repetition. I lost my focus of attention there, and then my ego was like, oh no, what if you don't know? What if you're not good enough? What if you embarrass yourself? Oh, whoa, woe is me. What if this being, this body, feels slightly embarrassed over a situation? What if I could learn from it? How about that? What if? What if I looked for the positives in every situation? Perhaps I would see them. So you are the most simplistic way of explaining it, of allowing a viewpoint of it. So you separate from yourself and you watch yourself, you view yourself. Likened to a TV, it has the potential to receive and broadcast whatever channel it is tuned into. All the channels are in the airwaves around it. Whatever channel you tune it into picks up and broadcasts. It aligns itself vibrationally with, receives it and projects it. If you align yourself with frustration, anger, some form of repression or victimhood, anything which takes you out of alignment of that free flow state of existence, anything which takes you away from love, then you will align yourself vibrationally to that and attract it from the universe around you. You will also see it outside you. If you align yourself to positivity, knowing that when a negative thought comes in, it is just that, a thought to be experienced, you allow it, you go, oh, look at that. Okay, yeah. Oh look, I can actually learn more from it from this perspective as I let it go. Oh look at that. Oh, that's mine. That's me. That defies me. That negative thought. Yep. Oh, I can't see now. Life's pretty shitty. Well, yeah, it is if you focus on the fact that it's shitty. But if you use that shit as fertilizer, then you can actually grow your garden more beautiful and abundant than you could without that shit. The truth is, the depth of it all, there is only one screen. And I am going off topic a bit here, but I will return back to the parts and how we can actually bring unity of those parts in a moment. There is only one screen of information. What you vibrate at, you attract, you project. You hold the remote control and you can tune yourself into whatever you wish to experience. The truth is that this is kept hidden from us, and that there are parts of us that have previously tried to go about experiencing and creating a life that we choose that reach blockages and barriers. And as soon as that happens, the little voice of protection comes up and says, I told you you shouldn't have done that. I told you shouldn't have took a risk. I told you should have stayed safe. Stay safe next time. I've got it. You stay safe. You stay limited and protected in that little bubble of safety, in your bubbles of safety, your bubbles of fear, your bubbles of repression, because in those bubbles of safety, you can only experience that within that bubble. Everyone's in their nice little neat manageable bubbles. Surprised it's not called a box as opposed to a bubble, because a box is more masculine, and it's all to do with a masculine or a wounded masculine vibrational frequency of humanity that wishes to control every single aspect. Femininity likes to flow, so at least it's a bubble, a spherical object, a sphere around as the universe continues to move around. So every time you step outside of your previous projection or expectation of an event and experience something outside, you're like, oh, that's interesting, that's new. So again, there is one screen of information. You align yourself vibrationally, you attract it. You will see outside you that vibrational frequency. Oh, look, that person's lovely. That person's very kind. That person's loving. Oh, look at that. I can see the tiniest little glimmer of sunlight coming through the otherwise dark and gloomy clouds. How beautiful. Because you're looking for it, you can see it, yes? Oh, look, it's all dark and gloomy and miserable. Life's shit. Nobody likes me. If you're looking down there, you're not going to see anything other than the floor and the dark and gloomy and miserable projection that you are creating. One screen of information. The external world views it as you. So you control what you vibrate at once again through the alignment of all aspects of self, which is what we'll step into in a moment, how to actually integrate all of the parts of self as opposed to having some of them try to deny you and control your direction of attention through the desire to keep you safe. That's all it is. It's trying its best to actually keep you safe. It's a program, it's part of you that runs as an operational system likened to a computer, and it's trying to keep you safe. So you educate it. It's all about education, okay? Knowledge as opposed to information. As the external world views you as that vibrational frequency, you then allow them to experience the same. So as somebody comes up to you, you align yourself to love. Somebody comes up to you, shows you love, and you can mirror it back upon them. And then you experience love yourself within yourself as well as within them. And you are acting as that external mirror for them to experience love within themselves. You attract those on the same vibrational frequency to you, or people that are required to actually bypass or transcend limitations of old. If you get angry at people that are selfish, you will continuously meet selfish people until you learn to separate a desire to control or change any aspect that is outside you by simply accepting and allowing it to be part of you. Okay, let's just repeat that a moment, because this is the fundamental principle of it all. If you do not like something outside you, it is a representation of something within you. Once you become acceptant of it, in completion, once there is no more mind given, I don't mind. Once you no longer mind, there is no longer a negative attachment to it, and that person, that situation will just cease to exist, because there is no more requirement to experience it. You will then experience what is natural in the state of being that you are, which is enjoyment and bliss and love, harmony with yourself and those around you. So let's get into parts and how to actually bring them all into the whole, bring them all back into the self, likened to Frankenstein's monster being made up of all these different parts. It's actually getting them to integrate and communicate and work in alignment and work in harmony with one another, as we are designed to work in harmony with each other. Again, It's the ego which causes all forms of isms, separation. And I strongly suggest that you go back and watch the racism video, because again, it's the way we're informationally educated. The information we integrate is what we then create our foundational principle viewpoint of reality from. And I said this, Black Lives Matter rallies, I spoke in person in front of everybody to share my viewpoint of the situation, because there were so many young mothers, specifically mums, sharing a story of how they had to educate and raise their children to know that they would always face repression from the law and that they would always have a harder life because of the colour of their skin. Program, enter, done. Program's there. You've installed that now on your child, within his mind, within his principle of the matrix, because that's what it is. And then he will act accordingly, and he will see situations to represent that program that his mother has installed and told him is true. He will look for it to be factual, and he will find all manner of situations where it is factually exacerbated and exaggerated. Oh yeah, that's a specifically relevant situation there. That person's repressed, and it's because of the colour of their skin. Yes, my mum was right. I'll act accordingly. I will go out and I will seek situations where I experience repression, and I will go out and I will be projecting a hostile energy and frequency towards any form of control, specifically with the law, but any form of authority. Therefore, if I go for an interview, instead of acting accordingly and actually speaking to the person in the way that they wish to be spoken to deliver the information which I wish to deliver to them, to allow them to integrate it, to process it, to bypass their egoic control system and separation and protective qualities, I will go in guns blazing and I will cause conflict, and therefore I won't get the job, and therefore I will reevaluate and reassure my program that I was passed down to and that I was given by my caregiver. We look for, or we see, that which we wish to see, that which we look for. 10 parts, 10 situations, 10 events, whatever, 10 qualities of a person. If one of them is negative and you expect them to be negative, you will exclude all other things and you will wait until you see that one negativity and you will attach to it and grab onto it and say, yes, I knew they were going to be negative. I knew they were going to ruin today or the event or the situation or whatever it is. I knew it. I'm justified in my viewpoint. The mighty ego remains mighty and egoic. Okay? All it is programs, and there is part of you that will do everything it can to keep you safe. So we educate the ego into knowing it is safe by continuously challenging the viewpoints of old that it has. Every time it brings up something which you're fearful about, challenge it head on, straight away. Not tomorrow, not in a moment, now. I'm fearful about X, Y, or Z, therefore I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it again until that part of me learns it is not fearful. Actually, there's nothing to be fearful of. Just the way we learn the times table, repetition, 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 once again. Parts. And actually, before we go any further, if you are still watching this, then clearly you are on a spiritual journey, and I thank you for being with me, with us, as we are aspects of the same self once again. Thank you for doing the inner work. Thank you for having subscribed to the channel. And if you have not yet done so, ensure that you have, and go ahead and share this video. Just share this video with anybody it may assist to allow them a different viewpoint of themselves and of everybody else, knowing that everybody has parts, and if you can communicate to the eternal aspect of self by bypassing the controlling and fearful aspects of the person, you can deliver the information right to the very heart of them by simply choosing mindfully the way that you deliver that information. If you don't agree with somebody, leads on from last week's video, how to always win an argument. If you don't agree with somebody and you say, you're wrong, I'm right, they're instantly going to go, whoa, hey, defending here. I'm going to defend my viewpoint and my aspect of self. I'm going to defend my personal perception and information, my very being. Let's have it. Or, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting the way you view it. I view it like this. How fascinating. Please tell me more. Yes, I feel justified in my viewpoint. I'm going to give you more information. And I view it like this. Oh, interesting. I'm going to receive that information. Because you have justified my viewpoint, I would actually go ahead and justify yours, and I will take it to be interesting. And perhaps even integrate it and learn from it and benefit from it. Because that's the whole point in sharing information, right? To deliver something which is beneficial to the other person. So ensure you've gone back and watched next week's episode and all that good stuff, okay? Promotion, self-promotion here. Been doing the YouTube channel now for just over 2 years. Almost 2.25 years, let's say. It's a good amount of time. And through the year 2020, I had the most fundamentally magical year. Lots and lots of things taking place. And I'm actually recording this at the beginning or the midway through December, because I create content which is relevant to me and my journey, because I know it will be relevant to you and yours. And then it takes me a period of time to deliver it and share it. Therefore, I know that when you're watching this, we'll be probably into February, if not later through the year. And I strongly suggest that even though it was a Christmas special, you go back and watch the Christmas special. First 5 videos being on the Mainstream Meditation channel, the next 7 being on the Cosmic Surfer channel. So we have two YouTube channels. One's dedicated to meditation, weekly meditation, and the Cosmic Surfer has 3 weekly videos. Specifically, we are focusing our attention upon the Modern Day Mindfulness series, which is every Tuesday, and the Together We Rise, which is today, every Saturday. Every Thursday is United We Stand, where we share either an episode, a live recording of the podcast, or a live that I've had, a live conversation, a live healing, whatever live context, and uniting each other on a global level, global scale. So there we go. Promotion over. That allows part of me to feel justified in the deliverance of the information, knowing that it will grow and it will start to actually trickle through that frequency of information, of energy that we class as money, so that I can then channel it through me to grow the charity that we are creating. A global charity that will change the very fundamental fabrics of this reality. It's a very, very large task, and I am honoured and privileged to have been gifted it. Thank you, truly. There are times when I kick off and I'm like, why? Why me? Why now? I've had enough of this. Get me off this madhouse. And if I denied that voice, then it would actually feel inadequate and unjustified in its view, and then it would do all it can to try to actually justify itself. Yeah, but if you look here, you'll understand why I view things like that. If you look over here, and it will keep showing you all manner of negativity, because it wants you to basically accept and acknowledge it as part of reality, as part of you. Every person wants to be accepted, appreciated, respected, understood, fundamentally loved. Same with you. The same with those parts of your monster, of your being. Okay? If you deny it, it will persist and it will defy you from within the darkness of your awareness. If you accept it, yeah, I can see that. You're completely justified in your view. It is heavy. This is a very heavy, dense reality. It was much more beautiful and blissful back at source, but we've chosen this. So why would we go about then creating blockages and limitations? I know that every time there is a hurdle, we can overcome it. But we've overcome so much. And actually look at that. Look what we've experienced so far. And I'm proud of you. And I thank you actually for that viewpoint, because it keeps me in check. It keeps me mindful, and it keeps me aware of situations around me, of the way that other people are experiencing this current moment and situation in a place of fear. Coming from a separation from who they are, it's easy to see how people would be repressed and controlled through fear. I was there myself, and I remember it only too well. And I'm so much more joyful and grateful to be in this place of harmony and love, connected from within to that above and below. As above, so below. As within, so without. One screen of information. As above, so below. As within, so without. God the Creator in heaven in heaven and hell. I am the Father R1 as well as his counterpart. I have the potential to create and to destroy. What I align myself with vibrationally, I would experience. That's it. So every time a part comes up which is defiant, if you are seeking to better yourself, which you are, I can guarantee that, which is why you're watching this video, and again, thank you, because we are together creating a world of true equality, and the healing of the world, the work, the change, the expansion, the evolution, the healing of the world will not come about through helping or healing another person. It will come about through the helping and healing of the self. And in order to heal, because healing is actually a vibrational frequency that is less than, because it is aligning you to the fact that you are complete and whole and joyful here, and over here where you actually are, you are less than that and you need to be healed. And you're on a journey towards that healing. To realize that there is nothing to be healed, that you are already there, means that you are. And in truth, it's just an integration of aspects. It's an understanding and acceptance of all parts. These fingers are all part of the same hand. And it is easier to see that when we clench it into a fist. But it is when it is open to receive that we are then able to receive that information and act accordingly. We can link up with other people. And we can experience far more beneficial and joyful situations and outcomes. And if there is something that we are holding on to that is heavy or hot, it will only detrimentally and negatively affect us. If you hold on to a firework and it blows up, your whole hand's gone. If you are holding on to it lightly because you do not attach to it, you don't see it as good or bad, it is just there. You can view it and experience it, and if it blows up but leaves your hand intact because you have not clung on to it with too much conviction. It's not too severe in its way of controlling or manipulating or affecting you. Let go of a desire to control anything outside yourself, knowing that once you come to realization that the issue starts and ends within, that there is nothing outside yourself that will ever affect you. To play victim is to play victim, it's to choose to be a victim. To be a creator is to choose to be a creator. To integrate all parts of the self is what I do. It is the work that I do on a daily basis with my clients, to integrate all aspects of the self. To exist in a state of enlightenment is to live in full acceptance of everything that is, was, or ever shall be within the light. But first of all, to live within the light, we must venture through the darkness to discover the parts of the self lost and fragmented there and integrate them back into the whole, back into the self. If you're serious about the work, I'm going to break that down in a moment because it's very, very powerful, and that is the fundamental basic principle of it all. You can do the work yourself. It's more beneficial to go with a guide, and that's what I do. I guide people. I create a safe space of love, unconditional love, to do the work within, and I assist by guiding you all the way back home to the self. If you are serious, drop us a comment, send us a message, and one of the members of the team will reach out to you with a form of questions to deliver and gain an understanding of whether you're truly ready, or whether there's parts of yourself that still require a form of acceptance and surrenderance to allow for the work and the integration to take place. No, I'm too strong in my ego. I will stay here. Therefore, anything that will change that viewpoint, I cannot actually fully accept. I'm flirting with the idea, but no, because no. Well, I just know. There's very few people that are actually ready to do the work, and those of you that are, again, thank you. Truly, thank you. It is you that is changing the world with every breath in and out. If you would like to actually start upon the journey to get yourself to a place where you are ready to do the work, then I strongly, strongly suggest that you take one of our online courses. First one I would suggest is the 5 Steps to Freedom, breaking you free from limitations of old. through the 5 steps: acknowledgement, acceptance, and then going about learning and separating and recreating, being the author of everything, then I would strongly suggest that you take the energy mastery course. To master energy is to master life. After all, it is all energy vibrating at different frequencies, nothing more, nothing less. To know this and to act accordingly, to see it all as such, it's done. You're already there. There's nothing else. You've already won. So I finished the video and I've actually come back. I've come back to create a alternative ending, because instead of actually delivering it all in one video, because it got to being almost an hour long, I'm going to deliver it in 2 parts. This week's episode is Frankenstein's monster, and then next week I will actually share with you how to venture through the journey towards true liberation and enlightenment within the self. Within the next week's episode is some very, very powerful information, some calling to action, and delivering everything required to take you upon that journey towards true liberation within the self and outside, to accept everything that is, was, or ever shall be, so that you can truly be free. Thank you for everything that you do. Truly, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for continuing to do the work, for looking within as opposed to outside, and continuing to expand your awareness, your consciousness, and in doing so, causing the very expansion of the universe itself. I love you unconditionally and eternally. Thank you for everything you do. And until next week, until next time, I'll be sure to actually check out Tuesday's episodes of Mundane Mindfulness, as well as Thursdays, Together We Rise. Thursdays, United We Stand, and Saturdays, Together We Rise, as well as the podcast, as well as mainstream meditation, as well as all of the online courses, including the free ones. And stay tuned to receive the book very soon. Modern Day Mindfulness is then being incorporated and delivered into a book, Meditation Mastery, Beginner's Guide to Meditation Mastery. Keep shining, keep doing what you're doing, and until next time, namaste.